We are so grateful that it is October and the food drive at CMU is about to begin. The Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank depends on you. We are having a harder and harder time making product available to over 120,000 people every month, with 40,000 of those people being children. We are finding it harder and harder to keep our families not only together, but to keep our families fed. They say that the recession has ended, but not for people in need, not for people who are working minimum wage jobs, not for moms who are working 3 jobs and still not able to provide all of the basics for their families. The recession isn't over for our homeless friends, for men and women and families who find themselves on the street, in shelter. The recession isn't over for the food bank, who every single month struggles to pay the bills, to keep the building open, to keep the trucks on the road, to keep the staff paid, to move the product in and then back out to over 400 organizations that feed hungry people. I was honored to be at a check presentation for 5 Homestead Munhall-based organizations, each receiving about $1,000 from the Steel Valley Rotary. You thought they had been given $100,000. And each of them, the Rainbow Kitchen, MUSA, which services children after school in Homestead, making sure that they're safe and have a few snacks, the Salvation Army, who does emergency foods, the 8th Avenue Cafe, which started out just as a little coffee shop on 8th Avenue in Homestead, but now acts as a training center for at-risk youth because, as their director says, as Reverend Keith says, the streets are very enticing when you don't have a job and the ability to take care of yourself and your family. So those organizations are just a sampling of the 400 in southwestern Pennsylvania that need the food bank to provide the groceries that they then distribute to people in the form of a bag of food or a hot meal or an after-school snack or a home-delivered meal or Meals on Wheels, because a lot of times we forget about our elderly friends. We forget about people my age and older who no longer shop for themselves, do not have the ability to use the stove, whose family live out of state and cannot prepare for themselves. And so every day they depend on the volunteer who brings the hot meal and the bag snack to the door. They depend on the driver waiting in the car for that volunteer so that they can move on to the next stop. Because of a decrease in funding, home-delivered meals and Meals on Wheels only deliver 3 days a week. Instead of 5, they deliver 3, but they double up. So if they're delivering Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you're getting your Tuesday, Thursday meal in there, but you're getting 2 on one day. And then the concern for our elders is that, will they remember to eat Thursday's meal because it was delivered on Wednesday? Or will they be hungry in the evening, eat Thursday's meal, and then they have nothing for Thursday? Little things you and I take for granted. You know, of course you're going to save that meal and eat it the next day. But if you're someone with memory loss, just at the beginning of dementia, maybe you forget that that meal's in the fridge and you need to be eating that meal. Then let's talk about our babies. Let's talk about our children who eat breakfast and lunch at school. You've heard me say this before, but it continues. And then they get home from school and there's nothing. There's no evening meal. There's no after-school snack. There's no bedtime treat. There's nothing. And so we go from lunch at 10:45 in the morning at school until we get to school in the morning before 8 to have breakfast. But if I'm the 11-year-old who's responsible for getting the 5 and 7-year-old dressed into school, the 3 of us might be late. We're going to get to school after 8 o'clock. What does that mean? It means the cafeteria is closed. And the cafeteria manager in my elementary school will not budge breakfast is over. I'm sorry, you're hungry, breakfast is over. And so a lot of you have heard me say, it is the snacks kept in the transition coordinator's office, in the secretary's desk drawer, in a teacher's classroom drawer that gets those children from 8:20 until lunch is served. It's the fruit cup, it's the breakfast bar, it's the cheese crackers, it's that little bit of sustenance that fills me up here so I can start paying attention here. We have so many children who are lost, who are behavior problems, who don't concentrate, who are physically ill more often than your children are, who end up hospitalized for reasons your children would not be, simply because they don't have enough to eat. Forget good nutrition. Forget healthy food. They just don't have enough calories on a daily basis to sustain them, to allow them to sleep calmly and safely, that allows them to get up and function first thing in the morning. And on top of hunger, our children are dirty, disheveled, their hair smells, their teeth are rotting in their heads because the hygiene products aren't at home. There's no toothpaste. There's no laundry soap. There's no shampoo. There's no bath soap. Because their parents don't care? Because if mom has a choice between bread and peanut butter or toothpaste and shampoo, she's buying bread and peanut butter. And so our responsibility is to make sure that every food pantry, over 200 of them in southwestern Pennsylvania, to make sure that every soup kitchen and shelter, another 200 of those organizations, have the products they need to make the meals our customers need. I visited recently the intersection in McKeesport. The intersection, the Rainbow Kitchen, the Jubilee, the East End Cooperative Ministries are just a few of the organizations that are full service. They have a pantry, they have a soup kitchen, they have a medical office, they have an intern and homeless healthcare nurses who visit the little doctor's office inside that organization. They have clothing boutiques, they have clothing tables. And when I visited the intersection, Sister Bonnie said that when her customers leave, when her homeless friends eat lunch at 11:30, 12, and then they're heading out the door, she has a table with cans of soup, chili, all with pop-top lids. Why a pop-top? Well, if I'm homeless, I'm not carrying a can opener, and I'm not carrying a spoon, but I'm going to pop that lid at some point in the day, and I'm going to chug whatever's there. Tomato soup goes down easy, chicken noodle goes down pretty easy, but imagine chugging my chili, huh? But we do it. If we're hungry enough, we do it. And then she hands them, as they approach the door, a roll of toilet paper. Why does she hand them a roll of toilet paper? She is absolutely one of my heroes, because for me, it's all about the toilet paper. Why does she hand them a roll of toilet paper? Because if you're on the street with a little dignity, you've got to be able to clean yourself up. If you're crashing this evening with your sister or your brother or your friend, you're using their facilities and you're using that precious toilet paper that costs a good deal of money, but you can contribute. You can say, got a roll. I can help out a little bit. I sleep on your couch, but I got a roll. So as you do the food drive, think about toilet paper. Think about that precious commodity that our families need, right? If we're feeding people, if we're providing food for meals, then with dignity and self-respect, I better be able to use the bathroom. Forget paper towels, forget boxes of Kleenex. They're all necessary. You know, this old broad carries Kleenex at all times. But if I've got toilet paper, I can wipe my nose or my eyes with my toilet paper. Think about the toiletry items. Food is critical. We know that if you donate the peanut butter and the macaroni and cheese and the pasta and a plastic jar of spaghetti sauce to go with it, we know that you're helping to create a meal. Think about a can of tuna fish. a bag of egg noodles, creamed soup, doesn't matter what kind. When we mix that together and pop it in the oven, we've got a casserole, we've got a meal. So think about those simple items that make a complete meal. Very important. But think about the toiletry items as well. Shampoo, not talking Pantene, I'm not talking Vidal Sassoon, I'm talking Suave. I'm talking VO5. I'm really dating myself, right? I'm talking about dollar store purchases because that's where you're going to stretch your buck. So if you're shopping for me, shop at the dollar store for those toiletry items. Think about a 3-pack of bath soap, Ivory. Oh gosh, there I go again. Very inexpensive, right? 3-pack of Ivory soap. Toothpaste when it's on sale. One of our elementary schools in Pittsburgh, we have student teachers run by a professor, Dr. Gordon, who is a passionate man about hunger and poverty. And he's having the children at Liberty Elementary collect toothpaste. And then they'll donate that toothpaste not to the food bank, but to the pantry in their community. So watch for those sales. You know, when toothpaste is on sale for $1, but if you're in the dollar store, it's always $1. I've got 2 minutes left. So think about the items that will help us. I walked the building on Tuesday with a group of Rotary members, and as we walked the warehouse, we have more empty pallet spaces than we have food. An empty pallet space is about 100 boxes of food, non-perishable food items and toiletry products and household cleaning. We're empty. The aisle that is all volunteer packed boxes, about half full, because we don't have the product to pack in the boxes to put on the inventory. When we have less, the soup kitchens, the pantries, the shelters get less. When they have less, our children, our elderly friends, and our working moms and dads get less. And less means mom doesn't eat, so kids can. Less means children are eating fewer calories. Less means our elders are going without on a regular basis. And I will end with this short story. I am a huge fan of peanut butter. If I could eat it 3 times a day, I would eat nothing else. Love it. And I met a young man who said he loved peanut butter pops. So my ears perk up. I want to know how you make these. I said, tell me, what's a peanut butter pop? And he said, it's my spoon. I said, yeah, I'm with you. He said, it's my jar. I said, I know. I'm there. He said, and it's the last crusties on the bottom of the jar. I get my spoon in, I pull them up, and that's my peanut butter pop. He saw the positive in what you or I would see as a negative, an empty peanut butter jar, but he loves those crusties on the bottom. That's the weekend for our babies. That's the last little bit of cereal in the box. It's the last few crackers in the pack. It's that last little bit of peanut butter. That's how our babies get through the weekend, on the last little bits. It is real. And if you help us to feed our families, you help our parents to stand up straight, to square off their shoulders, to sleep a little better, to worry a little less, because you're helping to feed their children. And if you're helping us to feed the elders, you're helping us to keep the grandparents alive and well. People can, because of you in the wintertime, can pay their heating bills and still have some food. Because CMU, you provide us with what we need for January and February. And what you don't provide us in food, you provide us in money. And we buy by the trailer load what we need to get through January and February. Are you valuable? Yes. Are you a food bank hero? Absolutely. Are you our partner? One of our best. Thank you, CMU.